Hey everybody, this is Talkative Carl back again for another TV show spoiler review. And quickly, I am covering Megaman NT Warrior Season 1. This is one of those shows that I had on like the back burner for quite a while. It's been like a pain to trying to find Season 1 to start binge watching it so I could do a review. But finally finished it up. Uh, then I'll be going on to another show that probably you haven't seen in quite some time. But this is this came out like early 2000s. Uh, so it was like a solid show because like there's been other Mega Man shows, but I think this one I was gravitated to a little bit more. This is my idea of Mega Man when I think of Mega Man, other than like the classic one that that looks like the one I was playing. If you saw my gameplay, this is also up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkative Carl, where like I mostly uh, post my video game walkthroughs from my Twitch live streams. Um, which you can also follow me live as I play tons of video games. It's twitch.tv/talkative Carl if you ever want to watch me live. But yeah, I like that look of Mega Man, but like NT Warrior is like dope as hell. As a probably the most clever way of implementing Mega Man into a world. I mean, in this context, this is like a year 20XX or something like that, and where it's like a very high tech future where most people have like net navies. Now, this kind of runs as watching this, and as well as like probably the next show I'm going to be looking into kind of falls in the same category because I think there's a lot of shows who do the same beat. Cause I think they kind of follow the. I think it was like this show and like Duel Masters, which I also did season 1 spoiler review of, which I'm kind of want to get into season 2 eventually, but this and that kind of follows the same beat of like quirky, spunky type of knucklehead kid who gets this awesome creature slash entity side partner whatever, and they go to these tournaments, kick a lot of ass, learn. Got like fathers that wasn't around and that's on sabbatical or off training or whatever while they home at their mom, and got these quirky group of friends, and like they're the de facto leader that's always been relied on to take on like the baddies that none of their partners can actually handle themselves at the end of the day. And it's like it's like really following the same beat. And I don't know, I'm thinking to myself, did I ever register that they follow the same formula, or I was just along for the ride and just didn't care because I was just enjoying it? And now that I'm reviewing it, I'm looking like, man, that's like almost like not word for word but beat for beat, and it's like that is odd. And it's like, are they from the same company, or are they just aping off each other, or are they just following the same trope as like Pokemon? Because Pokemon and Digimon had done this, and to some extent Yu-Gi-Oh, and these three were like the like as far as like Saturday morning cartoons, and not necessarily anime, but it's like they all like they probably like the front runner. These three was the front runners of this kind of stuff, and like you got like Mega Man, NT Warrior, and Duel Masters, and a few other things that eventually follow suit. Like, oh, they work, so we got to do the exact same thing. And even though they're fun to watch, and we got some enjoyment from it, it's hard to not see that it's not even paying homage necessarily. It's just pretty much like it worked for one, we got to do the same thing. It's kind of like the whole Jurassic Park thing. It's like It's like uh, you ride on the heels of other people, and like you didn't like earn it for yourself. You packaged it and you're selling it. You're selling it. That kind of thing. But they made it on. It didn't exactly like a total ripoff, but it's like clear story beats. Anyway, uh, so you got this leader, like not leader, but it's like head kid named Lan, uh, who has you know uh a net nabby. That's what these, because it's the future. We got like these like PETs or pets, uh, where you get these net nabbies, of which a lot of people in this future has kind of like it's kind of like the cell phone thing. It's like everybody almost got one, and these net nabbies are pretty much like their version of Siri, uh, and pretty much handle affairs like as far as like cyberspace is concerned. And Lan, thanks to his father, gives him this, or at least update his Nanabe, who's pretty much like just discount Megaman, but they don't call him that. But once you get this updated code as like a present, they sent him through the mail, and it upgrades into Megaman, and Megaman just kicking ass, all through like these net battles that people have. It's pretty much like Pokemon battles, but instead of six creatures, you got like just one net nabby that you can insert these chips that has these different kind of weapon modifiers that you can apply to your net nabby. And of course you get like things like Mega Man's cyber sword, long sword, wide sword. You get these mini boomers, of course his iconic blaster, and later on in the season you'll see him, just like in the games, him applying other characters' weaponry upon himself, which is dope. Uh, uh, there's this character named Dex, who's pretty much like, you ever watch like the Rhino from like Spider-Man's enemy, the Rhino? It's like Dex kind of looks like his kid or something, because he got this bald but only one strand of hair that spikes up and make him look like a rhino, and he has his like his net nabby is Guts Man, and it's like these two are probably my least liked characters from the show, because it doesn't seem like they do jack shit. I want to say not do nothing, but it's like an idiot that only cares about food. And it's always got that one character in these kind of shows that always got the fat kid in the group. They only cares, like his whole arc is like, I'm getting kind of hungry. That kind of thing. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. And Gus, man, looks dope, but it doesn't feel like he just doesn't contribute that much, except for like, oh, he's the heavy lifter, or he's like the one that people practice on, kind of thing. Because prior to the story of the show, he seems like, oh, Lan's rinky-dink net nabby can't hold up to Gusman, but we don't necessarily see Gusman really like. I mean, you see him battle every once in a while, but it's just like he needs to get help, or he's like, just like a short little fight. It just wasn't like, you don't get anything epic from Guts Man. But then you got I forgot like most of the other human kids, his friends, but one of the ladies is like got Roll, which I like this version of Roll than any other iteration of Roll in any other Mega Man property, honestly. She's pretty dope in here, and I think like kudos to the show, they give Roll more agency. And it seems like, oh, she's not just like, oh, to see the female that, because I think back in the day they really like very misogynistic without probably trying to be, where it's like, oh, she's there to clean up. Because I think one iteration she had like a broom as one of her, or a vacuum as one of her attachments or something like that. I could be misremembering, but Ro for the most part wasn't like treated, cool at all. She's just like there, or at least like Megaman's cheerleader or something like that. But this one, she's like a badass. I like rolling this. Uh, I just don't like what's the dog's name? Was he Ruff? I think, but I don't like this version of Ruff. I like the red dog Ruff like you see in other iterations, but this one is like the polar opposite of Roll, whereas like I don't like this version of the dog. Uh, but then you got like Iceman, which is kind of counterintuitive when you got like another villain net nabby named Frostman, and it's like that's kind of derivative. You got like two. It's not like you can't have it because like there's Pokemon that got who's are ice types, as well. But it's like I don't know. It's fine as long as there's other net nabs out there that uses similar abilities. But anyway, because Iceman looks like the ice climber from those old ice climber video games. It's pretty much got to be based off that. Then you got Glide, uh, who's pretty much like this rich little girl with like the big shiny head that people like to mock, who's like pretty much like her Alfred Net Nabby. But then you get to see like what's his doggo name? Clyde, something like that, something eyed, and his Net Nabby is Pearl Man, one of the most iconic Mega Man characters. Who's like always like you always get like the Seto Kaiba Vegeta type of character, like the rival that's like slightly better, or at least like similar in strength or slightly better than the protagonist's main side partner, and just overall just cool, just for the sake of being cool. And Pearl Man's a beast, and of course Clyde is just like too cool for school kind of attitude, and which is kind of speak to a lot of kids back in those days when it's like for that age group when they see like him and it's like Proto Man, it's like oh like we always got that cool character, it's like Edge Lord, and it's like I don't have time for friends, and it's like and he just always got his crap together, and he's just cool, and just his net nabby just always like Mega Man eventually try to learn this like secret technique called the Program Advance that it's kind of like in like anime or other cartoons when like the lead characters trying to figure out this special move where their rival can just get it right away. They understood it right away, and just like prodigies and stuff like that. And like Pro Man figured out the Program Advance and just like knocks it out of the park. So that's pretty dope. Anywho, you get to meet the mom and other supporting characters. There's like it doesn't seem like there's no police here. It seems like you got these little local superhero slash wannabe. It's like trying to combine like an FBI agent with a superhero with a secret identity named Captain Beef, who's pretty much like he's like the neighborhood fisherman that's super obsessed with calcium and fish, but he's like an overall secret agent kind of thing, but with a costume. And I'm not a fan. I don't think I was ever a fan of his look. And you got these two female partners who they got to be in costume too. One is like a, who one looks like she could easily run like a flower shop, while the other, well, which she kind of does, but just more agricultural environment, like important to her. But then you got this other person who looks like a neighborhood psychic, and they got like Woodman and it was like Bone Man or a Skeleton Man or something like that, and you got Shark Man, respectively. But Yeah, Captain Beef seems like a rinky-dink version of Saiyan Man. Uh, the alter ego of Gohan in Dragon Ball Z, and I thought like, God, that's lame. That is like really lame. Uh, but so the antagonist, in the series, is obviously Dr. Wily. We never see Dr. Light, uh, which I suspect either Lance's dad is just like a younger version of Dr. Light because he technically created Mega Man for his son, but not Dr. Light, because Dr. Light and Wily used to work together in Mega Man lore. Uh, and you always see Dr. Light as like a old man with a fluffy white cloud like beard. Uh, but maybe like he worked with Lance's dad and helped create Mega Man, maybe because if it's Dr. Wily, there's gotta be Dr. Light. Anyway, uh, Wily runs this evil organization called World 3, and he got like a very well, at least they get very distinct personalities that match, kind of like a stereotypical outlook or whatever. At least for a couple of people, you got like this Scottish guy who's like obviously dressed all in red and like got fiery personality, and you got like Heat Man as a net nabby that controls fire, and of course he speaks in obviously a thick Scottish accent, but you know, almost stereotypical is like don't blow smoke on my kilt. That's like, yes, we get it. You're Scottish. We get it from the accent, but you lean it extra hard into that. Oh, you're Scottish. Remember, I'm the Scottish guy. Then you got, I forgot the Hindu guy's name, but you got this Nenabi Magic Man. I'm glad it doesn't look like Dulcine. Well, that character looks like Dulcine with the neck nab. They almost look vaguely like Dark Magician, but I'm just glad it's not like a rinky-dink version of Dawson from Street Fighter, but or nothing too offensive, for a net nabby, but he's like run like a curry chain restaurants, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's Hindu, so he has to, uh, be because he had to have like curry restaurants. Not that they like purposely, because they. No one say they wasn't culturally sensitive. That'd be probably unfair because I don't think they just ignorant of how that looks. Was the same way with like Apu from The Simpsons. It's like you're not very aware how that looks to the people of that race. Whereas like you got this guy speaking a very like thick, I don't want to say a thick accent, but you still relatively treated respectfully, but it's just like he was dressed in a very well. It could you can always look at it where it's like, oh, he's dressed in like his native country's, you know, you know, he's proud of his country. He's dressing like he want to dress to represent that country. Uh, so you can look at it that way, and not just because like he has to wear this and not just regular clothes, but whatever. Uh, you got I forgot her doggone name that quickly, but I probably should look up because like I feel like I should because I like this character who had this net nabby Wacko Man, which is just this clown net nabby. Uh, a second. Mm, okay. All right. Uh, the one who controls role is named as Mal Sakari. Uh, yeah, who controls Glide. Uh, Chad, not Clyde. Controls Proto Man. Uh, yeah, Maddie controls Wacko Man. Uh, Yahoo controls the Hindu guy who controls Magic Man. Uh, Count Jack Zap, who controls Elect Man and Electrical uh, 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 Net Nabby, and Maddie. Yeah, and Maddie controls Wacko Man. Where's the where's the Scottish guy? Mr. Match, that was his name. Uh, anyway, World Tree goes to World 3 is trying to take over like the cyber network and then eventually the world. Uh, but of course you got these kids because apparently the parents are not watching these guys. And now, of course, this is geared towards kids. Guys see kids, doing their thing and helping out, without parental supervision or, any kind of guidance or, well, there's some guidance, but it's like, oh, they can step up. We can trust them to handle things here, even though they're like middle school kids. But it's just like most movies back in the 80s and 90s and most of the 2000s, like, and then like Stranger Things, like, oh, kids gotta, be the ones to handle things because, like, the adults are so inept. At least most of them are. And there's no freaking police force for some reason to deal with certain things. Like, because World 3, by and large, as a terrorist group, let's just cut to the chase and call it what it is. Uh, uh, of course, Megaman always be the one to take these guys down. It's like you don't see Glide or Roll or Gutsman, doing their thing and like, handle these guys solo like that. At least, you know, they do maybe like at least Roll does at least more so than the others. But it's like, wow, you guys just like rely too, just like with Dragon Ball Z, y'all rely too much on the leader guy to come swoop in and save the day instead of like handling things, at least doing your part to like, handle things without having to call on and rely on Mega Man. Uh, I just thought that was kind of like that kind of bugged me a bit. Anyway, they go to this like tournament thing where like they do these net battles and you know uh World 3 tried to like cheat every once in a while, but Mega Man and his friends easily take them down. uh and the tournament part is probably one of my favorite part of season 1, but then of course all the while, like, Mega Man is trying to learn like the programming advance, and of course it's one of those things in like anime where like, you see, I see that with like in moments like Digimon where like the partners have to be in sync in order to pull off this great move, where after they learn it they can just do it and spam it, pretty much. Uh, but then he managed to learn in time to take on Proto Man in the final fight, and this major battle between these new two net navis somehow unearth, like at least crack open like this, hidden chamber underneath the ground or somewhere, where this self uh, operated net navi called Pharaoh Man, who was like locked away because it was built to like help run like the Savile world, but becomes self-aware, that kind of thing. Well, they're all self-aware, but they're like, it becomes like the Ultron situation where he's trying to like just do a takeover. Uh, but you see a moment where like upon his escape, he's trying to like snipe Proto Man after Proto Man beats Mega Man in the final thing, which I kind of liked because you rarely get those moments where it's like the lead character's partner or the lead character himself doesn't win this big tournament. It doesn't really happen all that often, but I respect it. It's just with Ash and in like the first Pokemon League in the Indigo Plateau, he doesn't win because you have expect, unless you read the manga, you have expect Ash to win the Pokemon League in the first thing because he's the main character. No, I think he finished in the top 16 and then in the top 8 in the next one. Well, he beat like the Orange League technically, but it's like in the Johto, he finished in the top 8, then in Hoenn top 6, something like that. So he gets better and better until eventually in like Sun and Moon, he won that tournament technically, because I don't think you can count that personally because they're not traditional gyms and tournament or whatever. It's a whole nother thing. Eventually I'll get through like Pokemon seasons and stuff like that, but I really got to cut out a chunk of time for that on its own when I've gone through some other stuff. But Mega Man pushes Pro Man out the way and takes the hit that was meant for him, because I guess Fairman doesn't really care like who he hit. He just like attacked for some reason just out of the blue instead of just rising up or whatever. But Mega Man ends up getting deleted, but not thoroughly, because throughout their adventures, Lan, who shared space with and time with his group of friends, and the space they shared with Mega Man left somehow. It's kind of like a very plot convenient kind of thing or contrivance where he's not deleted, he's inadvertently left pieces of himself among his owner and his friends' PETs, so that way when they come together, it can put these little rings together and reshape Mega Man to his full form again. It's like, that is just like I don't know, maybe it made sense at the time, but that just seemed cheap now re-looking into it as I'm older and a little bit more like aware about like plot contrivances and plot holes and things like that. That was like a cheap way. That doesn't seem like I won't say no thought put into it, but it's like I said, it's cheap like way to like get Mega Man back into the picture. Shouldn't have made that happen in the first place, him getting shot. Anyway, him and him and Pro Man come together to like use the double program advance to wipe out Pharaoh Man. And then seemingly Wily who's trying to like capture Pharaoh Man, fails. He seemingly dies, and now World 3 is disbanded, and now you got this new organization that's pretty much like filling in like the hole left behind by Wily. And you got this guy who's running like Grave. I forgot his doggone name. Goss Magnus, who got like a magnet man Nabby. And these two like really hated each other, more so because the mother favored one child over the other. But in the end, I mean, like after the event of the tournament, you see like Mr. Maddie, Zap and Yahoo actually get some layers to their character, which I appreciate because kind of like with Jesse and James and Pokemon, there's later on in like subsequent like seasons, you see more and more of Jesse and James upbringing that kind of formed their lives and where that led them at. That makes them more than just goofy characters that gets blasted off every end of the episode. You know, Maddie tried to work with Goss, not knowing that he also secretly, he didn't know, was being money backed by Wiley, who was in hiding until he rebuilds the things he lost after the whole Feral Man situation. Maddie trying to, while the others want to rebuild World 3, Maddie, wants more. And she sees like, oh, working for Goss, who is the leader of Grave. She thought, oh, that's like a easy score. But realizing that, oh, this guy is going to flood a room full of people, and like she might be see, it's like she mentions like I may have worked for Dr. Wiley and we caused like some chaos, but Miss Wiley wouldn't even do this. Yes, the fuck he would. He'll definitely be behind all of this. It's like, yeah, flood a room full of these people, fuck them. And it's like she asking like a statue of Dr. Wiley. It's like, oh, what should I do? But then she like comes to the conclusion like, okay, I'm not working for this dipshit anymore, so I'm gonna help my enemy in stopping him. And it's like, it's been a couple of times when like these World 3 flunkies teams up with Megaman to help stop like bigger bad guys, which I kind of dug in season 1. It's like a long season 1 too. It's like 52 episodes. Once Graves' overall plan comes into fruition, building, because upon the destruction of Feral Man, there was like this data left behind, and it ended up creating two entities with barely any memory. One is like this ultra beast that starts consuming net nabbies left and right, and the other one is the Mega Man character Base. And Base trying to consume the beast because Base is the only one that so far was able to go toe to toe with this thing, while everybody else is just getting absorbed. And eventually, Base trying to consume the thing to destroy it, just to form himself. The beast end up consuming him. Then Mega Man using like this program, the XC, to power up to take this thing down, because like this thing consuming every net nabby, like from like every net, like Proto Man, Shark Man, Bones, Woodman, and is the only ones left right now, because like if you're not in the Cyber world, you're in the PETs, you're safe, but you can't go out because you're pretty much trapped, otherwise that thing will absorb you. So Land's friends, Dex, Meryl, what's his name, Yai, and Iceman's controller. They're the only ones that's the only net nabbies left. But thanks to Mega Man, who seemingly is losing his data from overuse of the XC's power up, managed to reconstitute and in the same time uh, take out the beast and reform everything that it was absorbing, including bringing back all the net nabbies it had been consuming. And so Dr. Wily will come back to fight another day kind of situation. But Gauss is done. It's like after like this major fight between him and his brother like, decided like, I want to finish this off and finish you because he hates his brother that much, and like have Elect Man hold down Magnet Man so Mega Man can take a shot. Very, Dragon Ball Z, where like Piccolo using the special beam cannon to kill Raditz while Goku is holding him down to keep him from moving. So so Elect Man and Magnet Man gets deleted, but Land says like, I'm sorry about Elect Man, Zap, and like, don't worry about it, kid. It's like, as long as we stop my brother. So it's like a noble sacrifice. Uh, um, I like the Wily's reaction. I gotta laugh at this, where Gauss is like, help me, Sarah's like, we can still, take him down. It's like, Bruce like, Wily's like, fuck off. And it's like, and like, delete and like, cut off the, well, they really like, not touchscreens, but like, they really was ahead of the game when it comes to like Skyping or like Zoom calls, because they get the little, it's like holographic kind of virtual kind of Skype Zoom call like thing, but it's like, it's pretty much the same thing except it's like hologram screens. But then like Base, who you thought was gone, returned into this real world robot that he's operating, because Wily had like robots for these self-aware net nabbies to control to fight in this tournament. There was a spare one that Base took over, so now he's able to operate in the virtual world and the real world. But you won't find out until like in another season, where that leads. Don't know whenever I'm doing like a season 2. I'm gonna play that by ear. But yeah, for now, Wily's defeated. World 3 and by extension, Grave organization is done. I also want to mention I like Mr. Match his because the controller of Frostman was that who we thought was a human was the robot that Base eventually took over, because like without Frost, it's like his little robot thing is pretty much like kaput. But Match, who has a grudge against Frostman for causing the deletion of Heatman, but thanks to what was it, Dr. Famous or something like that his name is, who helped Land with this like EXE program, help use whatever data left from Heatman to from what was like Flame Man to create Heatman, and exact his revenge from what happened to, because like these guys, World 3 goons have like agency and feelings, and it's like they have some honor code, and like despite them doing bad things, they hold their net nabbies in like high regard, and they care for them. It's kind of like their PETs, their pets, and just like any pet, you form the bond, and it's like that's not nothing to them. So of course, like Mr. Max went out of his way to like blitz Frostman completely. So that was dope. But yeah, I mean, you can watch at least season 1 on YouTube. of Mega Man Anti Warrior. It's like a bitch and a half trying to, because there's no other way to find it anywhere uh, to see any other shows. So that's just like a pain, man. So I don't know whenever how to figure out to do like a season 2 review if I ever do one. But anyway, if you recall watching Mega Man Anti Warrior, you can try your best to let me know. But check out season 1 is on YouTube. It's, you know, a little whitewashed, you know, on the screens, you know, kind of like somebody tried to take an eraser to like the middle of the screen, but you still can see it. But it's just like trying to avoid, I guess, copyrighted stuff or something like that. I don't know, but you can still see season 1, so you can get like the overall picture and rewatch it, and that's a little nostalgia for you if you watched it. But see it, let me know what you feel after rewatching it after all these years, what you liked, what you disliked, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Talkative Carl on YouTube. And I will see you guys in probably in a couple of days. I still gotta wrap up a little bit more of the Punisher Max that I want to do a comic book review of, as well as the Punisher 2004 Thomas Jane movie back to back in the next couple of days. So look forward to that. And I just wrapped up my Thor Love and Thunder spoiler review. It's up on the channel, so check that out if you want to hear my thoughts on the film. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.